It was a cold, moonlit night when Sarah's insomnia pushed her to sit by the living room window. The quiet suburban neighborhood was bathed in an eerie stillness. She sipped her tea, her eyes scanning the empty streets. That's when she saw him, a man standing motionless under the street lamp across the road. At first, she thought he was just a neighbor taking a late-night walk. But as the minutes ticked by, he didn't move an inch. The dim light revealed his pale, emotionless face, his eyes fixed directly on her window. Her heart raced as she realized he wasn't looking at the house, he was looking at her. Trying to stay calm, Sarah closed the curtains, hoping it was all a misunderstanding. Moments later, a faint knock echoed through the silent house. She froze, gripping her phone tightly, ready to call for help. But when she peeked through the peephole, no one was there. A chill ran down her spine as the knocking resumed, this time louder and more insistent. Gathering her courage, she yelled through the door, "Who's there?" but received no reply. Suddenly, her phone buzzed with a text message from an unknown number. It read, "I can see you. Open the door, Sarah." Panic set in as she checked the locks on every window and door. She tried calling the police, but her signal mysteriously dropped. Then came the sound of shattering glass from the back of the house. She ran upstairs, locking herself in her bedroom, clutching a heavy lamp for protection. Footsteps echoed through the hallway, slow and deliberate. Sarah's trembling hands dialed 911 again, this time connecting to an operator. As she whispered her address, the footsteps stopped right outside her door. The doorknob twisted, and a deep voice whispered, "Let me in." When the police arrived, they found no signs of forced entry or anyone inside the house. But on the living room window, written in condensation, were the words, "Until next time." Sarah moved out the following week, leaving behind a home that no longer felt safe. James was on a long drive back home, the road stretching endlessly under a starless sky. It was past midnight when his car's engine sputtered and died on a desolate highway. His phone had barely any battery, but he managed to call a tow truck. The operator assured him it would arrive in an hour. With no choice but to wait, James locked his doors and tried to stay awake. Minutes felt like hours as the silence around him grew heavier. Then, he noticed headlights in his rearview mirror, approaching slowly. Relieved, he assumed it was the tow truck, but the car stopped several feet behind him. A man stepped out, his face hidden under a hood, and began walking toward James' car. James rolled down his window slightly, ready to explain his situation. But before he could speak, the man grinned and said, "You're not supposed to be here." Confused and unnerved, James asked what he meant, but the man only laughed. He walked back to his car, retrieved something from the trunk, and began circling James' vehicle. James's heart pounded as he realized the man was dragging a crowbar along the car's surface. The screeching sound sent shivers down his spine. The man suddenly disappeared into the darkness, leaving James in terrified silence. Just as James began to relax, his phone buzzed with a text message. It was from an unknown number and read, "Look behind you." Paralyzed with fear, James slowly turned to see the man's face pressed against the back window. His grin widened as he whispered, "Found you." James honked the horn repeatedly, hoping to scare him away or attract help. Moments later, another set of headlights appeared, the tow truck. The man vanished as quickly as he had come, leaving James shaken but alive. The tow truck driver insisted they leave immediately, saying this stretch of road was infamous for strange encounters. James never drove at night again, haunted by the memory of the midnight caller. Emily was excited to move into her new apartment, a charming old building downtown. The rent was surprisingly affordable, and her roommate, Lily, seemed kind and welcoming. But from her first night there, Emily noticed something odd. She would often hear footsteps in the hallway late at night. When she asked Lily about it, Lily dismissed it as the neighbors upstairs. One night, Emily woke up to the sound of someone humming a lullaby. The tune was soft but eerie, and it seemed to come from Lily's room. Curious, Emily knocked on her door, but there was no response. When she peeked inside, the room was empty, and the bed was untouched. Confused, Emily texted Lily, who replied, "I'm staying at my boyfriend's tonight." The next day, Emily confronted Lily, who seemed genuinely surprised. Lily admitted that she often felt uneasy in the apartment but had never experienced anything unusual. Determined to get to the bottom of it, Emily set up a camera in the hallway that night. When she reviewed the footage the next morning, her blood ran cold. The video showed a shadowy figure pacing the hallway, stopping occasionally to peer into Emily's room. Emily showed the footage to Lily, who turned pale and confessed something horrifying. The previous tenant had vanished under mysterious circumstances, leaving all her belongings behind. That night, Emily woke up to the sound of her bedroom door creaking open. She froze as the shadowy figure stepped inside, whispering her name. Emily screamed and turned on the lights, but the room was empty. She moved out the next day, unable to shake the feeling of being watched. The apartment remains vacant, its dark history scaring off potential tenants. To this day, Emily wonders if the phantom roommate was the missing tenant, or something far worse. These stories remind us that the night holds secrets we may never fully understand. Sometimes, what we dismiss as coincidence or imagination hides a deeper, darker truth. Whether it's a stranger's sinister intentions, an otherworldly presence, or an unresolved tragedy, the night amplifies our fears. The next time you find yourself alone in the dark, ask yourself, are you truly alone, or is something, or someone, watching you?